This is the easiest Taekwondo combination that will help you to score more points from today. While I was watching one of my favorite fighters, I recognized a pattern. He uses an aggressive side kick to close off the distance and score multiple roundhouse kick or techniques in the clinch. This tactic is simple, he uses against most of his opponents and he does the same thing in every tournament. Can be this tactic one of his limits? Probably yes, but this combination is so effective that it allows him to win most of his fights and to achieve the top 10 ranking worldwide and the 5th place on the last Olympic Games, with just few adaptations based on his opponents and based on situations. Let's study one of his last fights and some variation he can use in our fights. Nice to meet you, I'm Lorenzo and I love to share my fight analysis here on YouTube. If you want to improve in Taekwondo, click the subscribe button and like button to watch more videos like this, and I want to give you a gift. I wrote the base for a Taekwondo ebook and you can get it in the first link in the description or in the first comment. The strategy is to use the side kick or cut kick to close off the distance, so that the side kick is more a way to block the opponent techniques. Then once he's in the clinch, he uses his arms to create space and strike multiple roundhouse kicks. This is one of his most common strategies, but Red shows us how to counter it. When the opponent closes the distance, you have to strike multiple roundhouse kicks and more roundhouse kicks than our opponent. And if we can even use HUGS kicks too. This because when the opponent pushes us, his arms are on our shoulders and he has a lot of openings on the torso and even on the head. Another way to counter his tactic is by taking the rhythm, then we have to counter with a technique, and once the opponent tries to push you, as I told you already, he has his arms on your shoulder, so you can score a lot of points on the torso. But pay attention to this detail. Let's watch what Red does with his hands. With these forearms, he pushes the opponent's arms, or maybe even with his hands, he pushes the opponent's arms, and by breaking this action is able to close off and hug his opponent. The referee now is forced to break the action, and if your opponent is not smart, you will be able to get back on the center of the mat. Instead, this blue is smart and he continues to push the red into the corner even with the referee that is trying to divide them. Now let's watch how to perform this tactic from a more farther position. Now they are far about 1.5 square and the blue fake a side kick, and once he's in the perfect range, the blue struck with the roundhouse kick and forced the reset with the clinch. Now he has the chance to reset because the referee breaks the action, and when the match starts again with the same action, he tries to apply the same strategy. Try to not aim a lot on the back of the opponent, but he tries to score mainly on the torso with the roundhouse kick. So I think that on higher weight class, it's harder to score with the side of the foot on the opponent's armor. The blue doesn't rush him or use a side kick from this distance because the distance is enough to let the red dodge and counter back. So the red on this distance has a perfect chance to counter perfectly. So to get close, he first step in. Once in the right range where the opponent can't easy counter, he closes with a front roundhouse kick, and to reset, he kicked with a defensive roundhouse kick. Now let's try to understand how to apply this strategy when the opponent starts first. In those cases, he dodges, cancels the technique, cancels the side kick, and with the window advantage, this allowed him to close the distance and get 2 points with the perfect roundhouse kick in this case. And even more interesting thing about this action is that he didn't stop after the first roundhouse kick, but he continued until he was able to take out 2 points. And in my opinion, there is yes a mistake for the blue, but a bigger mistake for the red, because the blue after he scored did the right roundhouse kick and then backstep, but the red after the blue landed the point, he stopped to fight. When if you watch his action, he was in the perfect range to score a high kick, and he had the chance to trade 2 points for 3 points, so to get 1 point high. So what you have to learn about this situation is not that you have to score high kick on the opponent middle kick, okay, but what you have to learn is that you don't have to stop after the first technique. If you have the chance to score points, you have to continue your combinations, and you can rest after the situation is in your favor and you got an advantage. So now the opponent is forced to be more aggressive and you have the chance to play defensive and score even more points and increase your gap. And this is a secret to score more points, and the trick is that you have to subscribe to his channel. But I want to gift you the secret. I'm not joking, but the secret is that you have to change fighting pattern. Once you use the same strategy multiple times on a round, on a match, unless your opponent is very stupid and the red is not, to earn your points you have to change your strategy. It's the only way. But what happened in this match is that if you use the same strategy, your opponent will react on your common strategy. So if you close multiple times and you kick multiple times with the roundhouse kick on the torso, and if you slowly move forward, you can change your strategy and force a 50-50. You can throw a coin and force your opponent to take a different choice. You can slowly move forward to get in the range, and once you are in the right spot, you like lie to your opponent by by faking a roundhouse kick on the torso, but you change strategy and you aim for the helmet. And if you watch this frame, the red's mind was ready to block the middle technique. And when he noticed that the opponents changed the pattern, it was already too late. And the red got 3 free points with the tech. So to score high kicks in Taekwondo, you have to apply the same technique multiple times so your opponent adapts to your timing and your roundhouse kick, and then you have to change strategy. And then once you are in a rush, and overall if your opponent is in a panic situation, so is on the edge of the mat, you can try to score high kicks. And for what I watched, one of the most effective technique in those cases is question mark kick, because the question mark kick is a liar technique. You fake a roundhouse kick, but you aim for an head kick. Let's watch another situation. They are in the middle of an action, he found a spot with a side kick, he closes and strike with multiple roundhouse kicks. But in this case he doesn't give up and continues with the right energies and the attitude to score points. In this situation I found an important detail. The red tries to stop the blue with the nug, but the blue doesn't allow him to do that. So he rotates his hip, and this rotation moved the opponent on the opposite side, and he was able to deviate the opponent push. And this will allow him to avoid the opponent clean. This is the same tactic that you can apply in every strategy. It's easy to learn, but you have to practice a little bit first and be able to use it in a fight. When you push your opponent in the corner, you don't have to wait that your opponent come back in the center of the mat. You have to create a sort of assault, you have to rush your opponent, and you don't have to give him the time to come back on the center. If you watch this situation, he strikes something like a 10 technique, and if you have the habit to score middle kicks, you have even a high chance to get points with a head kick like this one, because we build a feedback habit in the opponent's mind, and your opponent's emotions are going to react earlier than the rational side. Madonna mia, è assurdo, stupendo. Even when he's far, he first step in, then perform the side kick so the opponent can dodge or counter properly. And as you can watch, red doesn't have enough space to score points on his blue side kick, and the blue performed a weird low axe kick. This technique is a lot taught in Korea, but I do not advise you to learn it unless you are one of the lowest weight class. It's not hard to perform, you can find a lot of points, but for what I watched, it's not that easy that the system recognizes your technique, so you're not able to kick this technique with enough strength required to score the point, so you waste energies compared to a roundhouse kick. Because on the sock you have only one magnet on the side. I don't know if things are going to change on the Gen 3, but for Gen 2 you have only one magnet on the side, and to perform this technique you should like kick with the heel, so it's a very weird way to score points, and I do not know if it's a good idea to learn it. I think it's much better to focus on improving your strategies and tactic, and improve the percentage of scored point with roundhouse kick, a technique that you are going to use a lot more compared to this one. Most people, when they start to use this strategy, if the opponent is moving on the side, they are going to move to the side and follow them. If the opponent backstep, they stop. But what you have to do to be effective is that you have to search your points. You don't have to wait that your opponent gives you the opening. This means that if the opponent's torso is on the right side, you have to move first on the left, then you have to kick with your right leg. So first you will be on the best range to score the point, and as last, maybe your opponent is going to guard the right side compared to the left side, so it's going to give you an opening. Or at least this is what the blue does in most situations. Now we can watch what happens if you do not lose with the side kick, roundhouse kick or any technique, and if you just slide in, not even from the right distance, so when you're less than half square or max one square and you are further than this distance, your opponent has the chance to easily score on you because you give too many openings. And like in this case, even if the red did a correct guard, he still gives the blue the chance to score. And this same thing can happen if you throw weak side kicks. Watch how the blue with his hands push away every red technique, and this is very dangerous for the red, because on the third weak side kick the blue unbalanced the opponent just by pushing the leg away, and now the blue has the chance to score high kicks, to score on the back of the opponent, to score on the front side, to score on the torso. Yes, the red gives a lot of openings just because he throw a weak side, so they have created a dangerous situation. If you get until this point of the video, let me know if you are going to apply this strategy in your fights or in your training, and let me know what's your main problem in this moment. Maybe I can make a video about it. Now I want to thank you for your support, but I want to thank much more all the guys that joined my channel and that are supporting this project. Don't worry, I'm going to upload even more premium videos for you. I have already the structure for all the premium videos.